The spaceport buzzed with activity. Ships from countless worlds glided in and out, leaving trails of bright ion light behind them. Humans, aliens, and synthetic beings moved through the crowded terminals, exchanging greetings, trading goods, and sharing stories. It was a place where cultures collided and mixed, a testament to the possibilities of the universe. Among the crowd, Alex, a human diplomat in his late 20s, walked carefully, taking in every detail. Alex had always been fascinated by aliens. Their shapes, their languages, their ways of thinking, it was all a mystery he wanted to understand. Working as a cultural ambassador meant he got to see it up close. But he wasn't just curious for work. He was curious in the deepest sense of the word. He wanted to know them, not just their governments or customs. That afternoon, he was attending a reception at the Galactic Alliance Hub, a massive station hovering near the edge of a new star system. The hall was filled with representatives from dozens of species. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, shimmering with artificial starlight. Music from multiple worlds played softly in the background, blending into a strange but beautiful harmony. Humans mingled with reptilian creatures, gelatinous beings, and winged species, each conversation echoing in a mixture of tones and clicks. Alex moved carefully among the crowd, offering polite smiles and small talk. He knew most of the diplomats were here for political purposes. Treaties, negotiations, trade deals, all important, but Alex was distracted by something else entirely. Across the room, near a balcony overlooking the spaceport, he saw her. Lyra. She was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Her skin shimmered in subtle shades of silver and blue, reflecting the light around her. Her eyes were large and bright, with pupils that seemed to change color depending on the angle of view. She moved with a grace that made her seem almost weightless, yet there was a strength in her posture that commanded attention. Alex's heart skipped a beat. He had met many aliens in his life, but there was something about Lyra that made him pause. She seemed curious about the humans around her, observing quietly, not speaking much, yet her presence was magnetic. Taking a deep breath, Alex decided to approach her. Diplomacy, after all, required courage, and this was his moment. "Hello," he said, his voice slightly louder than he intended. Lyra turned her head and her eyes met his. For a moment he felt like she could see into his mind. "Greetings, human," she replied in clear, basic Galactic, the universal language used across most species. Her voice was soft, melodic, but carried a subtle authority. "I'm Alex. I work with the Human Diplomatic Corps," he said, extending his hand. She hesitated, then touched his hand lightly with one of her long, elegant fingers. It wasn't a handshake as he knew it, but it was a gesture of acknowledgement. "I am Lyra. I represent the Zainari Council," she said. "You are curious." Alex smiled. He had been called curious more times than he could count, but hearing it from an alien made it feel special. "Yes," he admitted. "I like to learn about other cultures, about other people or species." He hesitated, then added, "I also like meeting new friends." Lyra tilted her head slightly, a gesture that Alex interpreted as thoughtful. "Friendship," she repeated softly. "It is a human concept," Alex laughed lightly. "It's more than a concept, it's a choice. You choose to care about someone even if they are different from you, even if it's complicated." Lyra's eyes seemed to focus on him more intently. "Complicated," she said, almost testing the word. Alex felt a sudden boldness rising inside him. Perhaps it was the charm of the moment, perhaps the rare chance to connect with someone so unique. "Well, I wonder if you might accept a human custom," he said carefully. "It's called a date." For a moment, Lyra's expression was unreadable. Then she leaned slightly closer, her voice soft and almost musical. "A date?" "Yes," Alex said, trying to keep his nervousness hidden. "It's a way for humans to get to know someone they admire. We spend time together, talk, share meals, maybe laugh. Nothing formal, just being together." Lyra studied him silently. Her large, shifting eyes reflected the lights around them. Alex felt his heart race. He wasn't sure if she would reject him outright or if she would find the idea strange. Finally, she spoke. "You invite me to this human ritual voluntarily?" Alex nodded. "Yes, I would like to show you my world in a small way if you accept." There was a pause. Long enough that Alex thought she might decline, but then, to his surprise, Lyra's lips curved into what might have been a smile. "Very well," she said. "I will accept, but I warn you, human, my understanding of this ritual is limited." Alex felt a rush of relief. "That's okay," he said. That's part of the fun. You'll teach me some of your ways, and I'll teach you some of mine. She inclined her head. Curious human, I will prepare. We will see if your ways are as interesting as you claim. Alex grinned, barely able to contain his excitement. He had expected hesitation, maybe a polite refusal, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Alex found himself occasionally glancing at Lyra across the room. She moved with her usual grace, interacting politely with other diplomats, but occasionally casting a glance toward him. He felt a strange mixture of excitement and nervousness. The thought of a human-alien date was thrilling, but he had no idea what to expect. When the reception began to wind down, Alex found a quiet moment to approach her again. I should probably explain, he said, trying to sound casual. A date usually involves a place to eat, talk, and enjoy each other's company. Maybe a walk, maybe some entertainment. But mostly just spending time together. Lyra's eyes glimmered. I understand partially, food, talk, entertainment, time together, yes, she paused. It is simple, Alex said, but meaningful. Lyra considered this. Humans seem emotional. You value connections in ways other species do not. Yes, Alex admitted. We do. We can be complicated, yes, but it also makes us special. It allows us to surprise others, sometimes even ourselves. She looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. Very well, human. We shall begin your ritual. Alex felt a surge of happiness. He had expected challenges, but this was more than he could have hoped for. As he walked away to prepare, he realized something important. This was not just about a date. It was about connection. About showing a part of humanity that others might never understand. And in doing so, he might also discover more about himself than he ever imagined. Later, as he gazed out the large windows of the spaceport, watching ships streak past in brilliant colors, Alex felt a thrill of anticipation. The universe was vast, full of wonders, but sometimes the most extraordinary experiences came from moments of courage, curiosity, and the willingness to reach out. He did not know what would happen next, but for the first time in a long while, he felt ready. Ready to share his world, ready to learn about another, ready to step into the unknown, guided only by curiosity, courage, and the hope of connection. And Lyra, she waited silently, her eyes reflecting the lights of the spaceport, watching him, thinking, and perhaps smiling. The invitation had been sent, the answer had been given, and the adventure was just beginning. The next morning, Alex arrived at the Galactic Alliance hub early, his heart pounding with excitement. He had spent the night thinking about his upcoming meeting with Lyra. Questions ran through his mind. How will this date work? Will I embarrass myself? Will she like it? He had expected a simple meal, some conversation, maybe a walk through the observation decks. But Lyra had hinted that her understanding of a date was very different from his. When he reached the observation deck, he saw her waiting. Lyra's silver-blue skin glimmered under the artificial starlight, and her large eyes regarded him with the calm focus of a predator assessing its environment. Alex felt a little nervous, but determined to stay confident. Good morning, human, she said. Her voice was calm, almost melodic, but carried an unmistakable weight. Good morning, Lyra, Alex replied. I hope you slept well. I rested. Are you ready? She asked, tilting her head slightly. I think so, Alex said. Although I'm not sure what to expect. Lyra's lips curved in what could almost be considered a smile. You will see, today we explore, Alex blinked. Explore like sightseeing? Partly, she said, but also testing your mind, your instincts, your creativity. Alex's pulse quickened. Testing, instincts, creativity. He had expected something simple, but it seemed Lyra had something far more complicated in mind. You mean a challenge? He asked cautiously. Yes, a Zainari challenge, a way to learn about you. Alex took a deep breath. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. Lyra gestured for him to follow. They walked through the spaceport, passing by docking bays filled with ships of all shapes and sizes. Eventually, they reached a sleek shuttle with smooth, silver panels that seemed to shift color depending on the light. This will take us to the test chamber, Lyra explained. It is a controlled environment. You will face puzzles, obstacles, and choices. Your responses will be observed, Alex swallowed. Observed? Yes, not for judgment, for understanding, he nodded. The thrill of adventure surged through him. Humans were not always the strongest or the fastest species in the galaxy, but he knew they were clever. They could think, adapt, and improvise, and he intended to prove it. The shuttle took off smoothly, gliding past stars and planets in silence. Alex stared out the window at the vastness of space. For a moment, he thought about how small and fragile humans seemed compared to the countless stars and civilizations. Yet somehow, he also felt pride. Humans had traveled to the stars, met countless other species, and survived challenges that would have defeated many others. When the shuttle docked at a hidden platform, Lyra led him inside. The chamber was unlike anything Alex had imagined. Its walls shimmered with soft, shifting lights. Holographic projections appeared in the air, showing strange landscapes, obstacles, and devices he had never seen before. "This is the first test," Lyra said. "You will need to solve it. Use logic, intuition, creativity. The goal is cooperation with me." Alex looked at the holograms. One showed a bridge suspended over a glowing pit. Another projected a sequence of symbols in midair, constantly changing. A third displayed a maze filled with shifting walls. He felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Lyra stepped forward. "Choose first challenge." Alex's instincts told him to start with the symbols. Humans were good at patterns and logic. He approached the holographic symbols, reaching out with his hand. The symbols shifted instantly as he touched them, forcing him to think quickly. "Observe carefully," Lyra said. "Do not rush." Alex nodded and studied the pattern. He noticed subtle repetitions in the shapes and colors. His mind worked rapidly, trying combinations, testing sequences. After several attempts, he managed to align the symbols correctly. A soft chime sounded, and the projection dissolved into sparkling light. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. "Impressive," she said. "You notice patterns quickly, a human advantage." Alex felt a rush of pride. "Thank you," he said. "Your species is amazing, too. I've never seen anything like these tests." "Good, now the bridge." Lyra motioned toward the first hologram. Alex stepped carefully onto the glowing bridge. It shimmered under his feet, reacting to his weight and movement. Halfway across, the bridge began to shift, as if alive. He had to think fast, adjusting his balance and predicting the movements. His human instincts kicked in. He remembered parkour techniques, sports agility, and quick decision-making. Step by careful step, he crossed safely. Lyra's lips curved into what Alex could only call a smile. "You adapt quickly. Not only mind, but body. Humans clever." Finally, they approached the maze. Walls shifted unpredictably, doors appeared and disappeared, and holographic creatures moved through the corridors. Alex realized this was not just a test of logic or agility, it was a test of teamwork. He needed to communicate with Lyra, coordinate their movements, and anticipate her actions. "Follow me," she instructed. Her speed and perception were incredible, but Alex noticed she paused occasionally, as if waiting for him to make choices. He realized she was studying him, testing his intuition and leadership. Using hand signals, gestures, and simple words, they navigated the maze together. Alex noticed that when he trusted his instincts and made bold choices, they moved faster. When he hesitated, they wasted precious time. The human ability to improvise, to think creatively under pressure, became their greatest advantage. After what felt like hours, they reached the center of the maze. A soft glow filled the chamber and the holograms vanished. Alex looked at Lyra, exhausted but exhilarated. "You succeed," she said softly. "Few species manage all three tests. You surprise me." Alex smiled, panting slightly. "I guess humans have a way of figuring things out, even when it seems impossible." Lyra studied him closely. "You use intuition, creativity, emotion all together. Humans, remarkable." Alex felt a surge of pride. He had wanted to show her something unique about humanity, and he realized he had. It wasn't strength, it wasn't technology, it was adaptability, intelligence, and courage. Lyra paused. "Now, a final observation, not a test, but sharing." Alex tilted his head. "Sharing." "Yes," she said, "a human tradition not unlike your date. We talk, exchange ideas, experiences, thoughts." Alex felt his heart lift. This was what he had been hoping for all along. He and Lyra sat in the glowing chamber, surrounded by the remnants of holographic landscapes. He told her about Earth, about human childhood games, music, laughter, and traditions. She listened intently, occasionally asking questions in her melodic voice. Then it was her turn. Lyra shared stories of Zainari culture, their history, their values, their ways of seeing the universe. Alex realized that humans were not the only species capable of creativity, but he also saw something unique in humanity: the ability to blend logic with emotion, courage with empathy, and curiosity with action. Hours passed like minutes. Alex found himself laughing at her dry humor, amazed at her observations, and inspired by her curiosity. The initial nervousness, the uncertainty, all melted away. They were not two species from different worlds anymore. They were two minds, learning from each other, exploring together. As the chamber dimmed and the artificial lights softened, Alex felt a quiet satisfaction. Today had been more than a test. It had been an adventure, a journey into understanding, a proof that humans could rise to challenges in ways that even advanced species might not anticipate. Lyra regarded him quietly, then said, "You are not only clever human. You care, you seek understanding willingly." "That is rare," Alex smiled. "That's what being human is about," he said softly. "Curiosity, courage, trying to connect even when it's hard." Lyra's eyes shimmered. "Connection, yes, I see now, humans remarkable indeed." They left the chamber together, stepping back into the quiet platform of the space station. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly across the sky, a reminder of the vast universe waiting beyond. Alex realized something profound. Humans were small in the cosmos, yes, but they carried something extraordinary, the ability to surprise, to adapt, to connect, and to grow. And sometimes that alone was enough to impress even the most advanced civilizations. "Tomorrow," Lyra said softly as they boarded the shuttle back, "we continue your ritual." Alex felt a thrill of anticipation. Whatever that meant, he was ready. Today had been incredible, but he sensed that the real adventure, the one that might truly test the limits of human ingenuity and spirit, was only beginning. And in that moment, as the shuttle glided silently among the stars, Alex understood something he had always believed deep in his heart. Humans might not be the strongest or the fastest, but they were endlessly capable of surprising the universe. The following day, Alex woke early, still thinking about the tests he had faced with Lyra. His body ached from the physical and mental challenges of the previous day, but his mind was alive with excitement. He wondered what the next part of this unusual date would bring. When he arrived at the Galactic Alliance hub, Lyra was already waiting, her presence calm and commanding. The silver-blue shimmer of her skin reflected the soft light of the observation deck. She gestured for him to follow, and Alex felt a mix of anticipation and curiosity. "Today," Lyra said, her melodic voice carrying across the quiet hall, "we share experiences. A journey of understanding, not a test, but discovery." Alex nodded. He was ready. After yesterday's trials, he felt confident in his abilities, but he also sensed that Lyra's idea of a date was far beyond anything he had imagined. She led him to a transport shuttle, smaller than the previous one but sleek and elegant. Inside, soft lights illuminated the cabin and holographic displays floated in the air, showing a map of a nearby planet. "This planet," Lyra said, "is largely uninhabited. We will explore, observe, experience together. You will see the universe as we Zainari do." Alex felt a thrill. The last 2 days had taught him that humans could surprise aliens with their creativity and courage, but now he was about to see the universe from a perspective entirely new. The shuttle lifted off smoothly, gliding into space. As they approached the planet, Alex saw landscapes unlike anything on Earth. Jagged crystal formations reflected sunlight in dazzling patterns. Rivers of liquid that shimmered like mercury flowed through valleys of strange, vibrant colors. The sky was tinted with a faint purple hue, and 2 small moons hovered close to the horizon. "Remarkable," Alex breathed. Lyra nodded. "Beauty and challenge, this is a place to test senses, intuition, cooperation." As the shuttle landed, Alex noticed that the ground beneath them pulsed with energy, subtle vibrations that seemed to respond to movement. Lyra gestured for him to step out. "The first task," she explained, "is observation. You must notice what others may miss." Detail matters. Alex scanned the area carefully. Tiny creatures scuttled among the crystals, leaving trails of glowing dust. Strange plants swayed in the faint breeze, and colors shifted subtly depending on the angle of the light. He realized that this task was not about speed or strength, but perception and mindfulness. "Notice patterns," Lyra said, her large eyes focused on him. "Predict, anticipate. Humans capable?" Alex smiled. "We try, we observe, learn, adapt. That's part of what makes us interesting." Together, they moved through the alien terrain. Alex pointed out subtle movements of creatures, patterns in the rocks, and the way the light reflected on the crystal surfaces. Lyra seemed impressed, occasionally nodding or commenting on his observations. After several hours, they reached a series of ancient ruins, half buried in the crystal formations. Lyra gestured toward the structures. Next, challenge, cooperation essential. Alex examined the ruins. They were massive, with doors and walls covered in strange symbols and moving panels. It was clear this was some kind of puzzle designed to test intelligence and teamwork. We must navigate carefully, Lyra said. Some pathways will shift. Others will close, work together. Alex's mind raced. Humans were good at improvising, thinking outside the box. Using his observation skills and memory from the previous day's tests, he began suggesting paths and strategies. Lyra followed his lead, sometimes correcting him with her superior perception, other times relying on his instincts. Step by step, they moved through the ruins. Each success brought a small glow from the walls, as if the structure itself was recognizing their progress. At one point, a door began to close suddenly, and Alex reacted instinctively, using a piece of crystal as a lever to hold it open. Lyra watched closely, clearly impressed. "You act quickly," she said. "Humans adaptable." Alex laughed softly. "We have to be. The universe doesn't wait for anyone." Finally, they reached the central chamber. It was a vast hall filled with holographic projections of stars, planets, and galaxies. At the center floated a crystal sphere pulsing with light. Lyra gestured toward it. "This is the final experience," she said. "Place your hand on the sphere, share thoughts, feel understanding." Alex hesitated for a moment, then placed his hand on the sphere. Instantly, he felt a rush of images, sensations, and emotions. He saw the history of the Zainari, their achievements, their struggles, their values. But alongside these, he felt a strange resonance, something about human curiosity, courage, and empathy. Lyra placed her hand on the sphere as well. "Now share, not words, but connection." Alex focused on what it meant to be human. He thought of exploration, creativity, and the desire to understand others. He thought of courage in the face of the unknown, of adapting to challenges, and of finding solutions where none seemed possible. Slowly, the sphere began to glow brighter, responding to the combination of human and Zainari energy. Lyra's eyes shimmered. "Incredible human, your essence contributes to harmony, not force, not power, understanding, empathy, creativity, surprise." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth unlike anything he had experienced. "That's what humans can offer. We may be small, but we try, we adapt, we connect." The sphere emitted a soft hum, filling the chamber with light and energy. For a moment, Alex felt as if he could see the universe itself, not as stars and planets, but as a network of connections, possibilities, and potential. He realized that the galaxy was full of life and intelligence, but humans had something special, the ability to combine logic with emotion, courage with curiosity, and intellect with heart. Lyra withdrew her hand slowly. "You teach me, human, not only knowledge but perspective." "Zainari do not often encounter this," Alex nodded. "And you teach me too, about your world, your ways, your thinking. I feel lucky to see it." There was a long silence. Outside, the twin moons reflected light across the crystal landscape, creating a spectacle of color and movement. Alex felt a sense of peace, accomplishment, and excitement all at once. Finally, Lyra spoke. "Your ritual is complete. You succeed not only in tests, but in connection." Alex grinned. "So what happens now?" Lyra tilted her head, eyes shimmering. "Now we continue not as human and alien, but as two beings learning together, sharing experiences, discovery." Alex's heart raced. The date he had invited her on had transformed into something far greater than he could have imagined. It was not just about meals, walks, or conversation. It was about exploration, understanding, and connection on a scale he had never dreamed possible. As they walked back toward the shuttle, Alex reflected on what he had learned. Humans were not the fastest, not the strongest, not the most technologically advanced, but they possessed something extraordinary: creativity, empathy, courage, and the ability to adapt in ways that could surprise even the most advanced civilizations. Lyra glanced at him. "You prove humans remarkable indeed." Alex smiled, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "Thank you, Lyra, but I think we both proved something today. That connection, understanding, can bridge worlds." The shuttle lifted off smoothly, gliding above the glowing landscape. Alex and Lyra watched the planet shrink beneath them, the crystals sparkling like a field of stars. He felt a sense of wonder, excitement, and anticipation. "Tomorrow," Lyra said softly, "we continue, learn more, explore together." Alex laughed quietly. "I can't wait." Whatever comes next, I know humans will find a way, and I'll find a way too with you. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly across the galaxy. But Alex knew something profound. It was not the vastness of space that mattered most, but the courage, creativity, and heart that humans could bring to it. And in that, he had discovered a truth both simple and extraordinary. Humanity could surprise the universe, and sometimes, even an alien heart. As the shuttle sailed silently among the stars, Alex felt a thrill of possibility. The universe was vast, full of unknown worlds, challenges, and wonders. But he had discovered something far more valuable: the power of connection, courage, and ingenuity, the qualities that made humans not just survivors, but explorers, innovators, and friends of the cosmos. And beside him, Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the starlight, ready to continue this journey together.